Hi, welcome to Dream Dowsing. My name is Kim, and this is my co host, Margarita. And we are going to interpret a dream in this episode. We're going to do this in every episode. We're going to interpret a dream, and then Margarita is going to use her pendulum to guide the dream interpretation. She can follow along, and you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see the motions of the pendulum that tell you whether or not I'm going on the right track with what I'm interpreting. So, Margarita, can you just tell everybody briefly what your pendulum is going to be doing?
Yeah. So as Kim talks about a dream, the pendulum, because we already connected, is going to agree with her. So it's going to go back and forth like you moved. I'm moving the pendulum, or it's going to say no, meaning that may not be the right symbol, or that I'm not sure that. So when it's I'm not sure, it's going to go. It doesn't understand. It's going to go counterclockwise.
Okay.
Yeah. And in the welcome video that we did, we just go a little deeper at what that means if anybody wants to see it.
Yeah, so that was in episode 1, and so we will have that link for you in the show notes so that you can, if you want to go into a little bit of a better understanding of the pendulum, how it gets set up in the first place, and also with some more details on the way we interpret the dreams too. That's in the first one for you, but we won't take up that time right now today. So, yeah. So we're going to share a dream right now and then go through it. And this is a dream that somebody had, and the person was resting and kind of fell into a little bit of a sleep here. It was a short dream, and they woke up right after the dream was over because it scared them. So we would ordinarily call that a nightmare. So the interpretation on this dream is going to focus on whether it's a nightmare or whether it has any value to it. So the dream was that a woman came outside her house, and there were soldiers patrolling the neighborhood where she lived, and they looked very frightening. They were very stern, and they were walking up and down the streets. In the meanwhile, there were children who had been locked in garages, and there were stray dogs walking around, and it just felt very chaotic and very upsetting to her. And she commented, that she'd had this nightmare. And I said, would it be okay if I worked on the interpretation of that dream for you? And she gave me her permission to do that. So, looking at the symbol of a soldier represents your higher consciousness that is very stern. So it's not your highest level of consciousness, but it is a level of you, maybe like your subconscious, but it's very stern. It's you imposing rules and regulations on yourself and enforcing them. And a garage. So far, Margarita's pendulum is saying yes to this.
Yes.
Okay. A garage represents a place where you put things to forget about them. And we all do that. My garage is filled with stuff. I don't even know what's in there. So that's what a garage represents. Now, your pendulum's going in circles there for a second. It was thinking maybe
I was just
I
trying
was
to see where
talking
you
too
were
much.
going with that. You
Okay.
went back to yes.
We all want to know where I'm going with that, Margarita. So the pendulum was going in a circle, but now it's going yes, back and forth, saying yes. That is what a garage is. It just represents a place where stuff is dumped. It might matter to you, but you've forgotten about it. Children represent projects, new ideas, and a dog represents loyalty or protection. A stray dog would be something in your life that is loyal, that is not getting the attention back. It's being ignored. So something that's loyal to you that you're not paying attention to. So looking at the dream overall, I mean, it's one thing to know the symbols. It's about trying to get a feel for what this really means. So for me, what this meant is that she was not having time for things that she cared about. The children in the garage is projects and activities and hobbies and things that matter to her. But she had them in the garage of her mind. They were in her life too. She wasn't able to find time, that she was ignoring these things that mattered to her. And your pendulum is going yes on this one.
Still yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if I move a little. maybe there.
No, I can see it, but sometimes if
Okay.
people can't really see as well just because of their own vision, I just want to make sure we're clear on
Okay.
what's happening in the video. Yeah. So so she was imposing this on herself. It wasn't somebody else telling her you can't spend time on your projects and your hobbies. This was her saying, I can't do this. I don't have time for this. And the dog would indicate that there was a relationship, either maybe with an animal, a real dog, or maybe with a person that also was not getting the attention or the returned affection that the dog was trying to show. So it could be a real dog and it could be a person. That would be up to the dreamer to interpret that.
Hmm.
But so far, you're still saying yes with your
Yes.
pendulum.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just kicked a little more when you said it's up to the dreamer to
Oh,
see
okay.
the person. So it agree with you. Like I can feel it because it was just like a little kick. Little
Stronger. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. That's neat. Yeah. So that would be my interpretation of that dream, is that it was not meant to be a nightmare as much as a analysis of what's going on in her life, which is she's not paying attention to things that she cares about. And it doesn't have to be a critique of it. It's just a statement. You're not paying attention to things that you care about. And there's somebody there in your life that needs you, wants you, is loyal to you, protective of you, and you're not paying attention to that either. So it could be a bit of a wake up call. It could be a guidance dream.
Hmm.
Pendulum seems to like guidance, seems to be moving more on that one. So,
Yeah.
but it would be up to the dreamer to say yes or no, this resonates
But
with
it
me.
does, if I may say so, guidance is what's really going a little, more
Stronger.
The
Okay.
movement is just stronger.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that makes sense that it would be guidance, because there are rarely right or wrong answers to what we do with our lives, the decisions that we make. And this is just, it's just guidance. Like, if it'd be almost like a nice parent, like, I see that you're not doing this. I see you're not spending time on something like that. I see that you're ignoring this. It's not necessarily a judgment. It's just an observation. So that I would say is my interpretation of the dream.
Okay. It has stopped.
Yeah, yeah. So come back and join us, Margarita.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that
I'm
was
always
neat.
fascinated. Every time I use the pendulum, I'm always in awe. I use it primarily for healing, but just hearing you share the dream and how we were connected before and how it just was agreeing. So I always say kudos to you for interpreting the dream.
Oh, well, thanks.
Rightly,
It's
that's
fun.
fantastic,
Yeah, it's very
And you
fun.
speak to me always the truth. You're such a,
I try.
truthful person. So
I try, but that's neat to use that tool. That's
yeah.
not something I'm as adept at as you are. So it's nice that you can do that, and that we can try and figure these out. So, if you are listening to us and you would like to submit your dream, you can go to our website at dreamdowsing.com. Submit your dream. There's a form that's on there, and it asks you a lot of things. It asks you details about the dream that you remember, and it asks you about how you feel about it too, because that can interpret the dream. So, like in this case with the soldier, it was scaring her. The stray dog was scaring her. Everything was scary to her. So that's kind of interesting too, because it's like, it's not, it really isn't a nightmare when you break it down. It's not a nightmare. It's just an analysis. And I would say if I had a dream like that, that was having symbols that were frightening to me, and still I broke it down, it was like, okay, it's not really a nightmare, but I would take it definitely as guidance. Like, it's something I should be paying attention to more than be afraid of. I should maybe pay attention to it. Try and find time for those things, and figure out why I can't find time for those things, and what can I do? What things can I cut from my life? You talked about that. I don't know if that was the first episode or this episode where you talked about we get caught up in trivial things. We just pay attention to things that don't always matter, and sometimes our to-do lists are just long, but they're not necessarily filled with the valuable things that matter to us. Yeah, there's a dog groaning in the background. She's okay. She's just stretching. Yeah. So, have you come across anything that's interesting to you lately? Because I had something that I would like to share.
Well, why don't you share?
Okay.
I know you. Go ahead.
Okay. So, I was listening to a podcast. It was with Sandra Ingerman and Renee Baribeau. They're both shamans, and they were talking about AI. And I like it because it kind of ties into what we're doing here with dream interpretation in general. I said that I do use dream Bibles. I use one online. I also use one in person, and I'll include the link to the show note and to the in the show notes. I'll include the link to the book and to the site that I use to help me learn what they're saying is the interpretation of various symbols. But there are AI programs, and even you could probably go into any AI format and just say, "Here's my dream, interpret it." And what would it say? Would it say the same thing? Maybe it would. Maybe it would. Maybe it'd be exactly what we wanted. Um, you know what? I'm going to pause here. We talked about doing that. Remember, we talked about doing that last time
About doing what?
about going like into Chat GPT
Oh,
and
yeah, we did. Yes.
asking that. I'm making notes to pause right here to discuss that. Do we want to do that? Because we're at
ChatGPT.
10 minutes right now.
We are at 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're not going to make 20 minutes. I don't think.
It doesn't matter how long we do. This is what we are doing. It doesn't have to be very extensive. When it comes to, I'll pay attention to you. I could ask you questions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you talk about you feel comfortable talking about AI or?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll just pick up. So you could go on to an AI site and you could probably type in your dream and it would interpret it for you. And I don't know if it would be accurate because it's going to look at the symbols. There's no intuition. AI is not using intuition to try and figure out what is the really big picture. And so, but the point of their podcast was that you shouldn't overly rely on technology and any tools, including AI. It's best to try and connect with things yourself. It's best to try and go out in nature instead of trying to figure out, well, tell me about what's happening in my garden here. Tell me about the garden zone I live in. Go out yourself and look at what's going on out there. Observe what's happening in your own world. There's one woman, she was talking about that she was watching these caterpillars that were on her tree, and she was really upset about it because she could see it was eating leaves and it was being destructive to the tree, but she decided not to do anything about it. And then she watched and she saw that after a while, yes, it was taking away the leaves, but that birds were coming and they were eating the caterpillars. And so the birds were getting their food. And then some of the caterpillars turned into chrysalises or cocoons. And so there were new ones going out, new butterflies were hatching and going out into the world because of the caterpillars being on this tree and gaining food and life and a resource from the tree. Well, that became butterflies that went out. And so there were more birds that were able to eat those kinds of butterflies. And she was able to watch a full year of what was going on in her garden and really getting to know about it. There's something more valuable about experiencing it yourself or figuring out yourself than just using the computer all the time.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you just bring, when you say that, it just reminded me of we should never give our power away. We could give our power away in many ways. We could give our power away to other people, to a group of people, and you always have to be centered. I always think it's from balance, from knowing, just trust yourself. We need to pay more attention I've seen so many books, and even in the Bible, it just tells you, be still and know, and just go deep within. It's all about just don't give the power away. I guess that's my main point. Everything has a way to help us, but we need to really be in control. Even on health, I always tell people, be the captain of your own health. Listen to others, but make sure that you are listening primarily to yourself in a deep way.
Yeah, I like that. I think sometimes people don't have confidence, and then they'll put somebody else on a pedestal, like, oh, this person knows everything, and this person has gifts that I don't have. But we all have our own, and it's a matter of being still long enough to find out what those are.
Yeah. Like I have one little card that I pull out of a deck, and it says, sing your song. So it's kind of like that too. It goes, life is always telling us in so many ways through so many people that we just need to trust ourselves and just go deep within. I mean, I heard that since I was a child.
Yeah.
But sometimes we just don't know. We don't know how to do it. But there's now more than ever lots of tools, lots of people. Just like you do, you choose several ones. You like some, just like myself. There's some that I'm very that I really follow, that I truly believe in. But just AI is good for a lot of things, but
Hmm.
it's another tool, just like this pendulum.
Yeah.
It's not alive. It's just being used, and it's how we use it. And when it comes to something personal, I think it's good to spiritual, or you just have to trust anything related with nature, because spirit and nature. There's a song that I love. It says spirit and nature are dancing together. So you just want to be part of that, and AI will not be dancing with either or. So
No.
everything has a place.
Yeah. And everything that's on AI isn't necessarily accurate or correct. It is it is a tool that is pulling information from everywhere, right, wrong, or indifferent. It's pulling it all in and putting something out for you. And it really is a nice tool. I mean, we use it. It's really very helpful. But I think there's also something very satisfying about figuring out on your own
Mm.
and having the confidence that comes from that. So, like when we started, we had a dream group many years ago that we were working on, and we had people, and they were all coming every week and trying to analyze these dreams and looking at these online dream dictionaries, like this means this means this, writing it all down. But what does it mean? What does it mean? This is before AI, but still we had to figure it out. And then when it became obvious, like, oh, this is what this all means. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, and it adds to your confidence. And there's so many different things you can do. It doesn't have to be dowsing or dream interpretation. There's a lot of things you can do that will help you to connect with what's really real out there, as opposed to things that aren't. But it'll give you a lot of confidence, I think, if you take the time to do it yourself and don't just rely on AI to come up with everything for you.
Yeah. So,
Otherwise, you're
and
just
in this
parroting
case,
it.
you are talking about dream interpretations. A lot of people come and use them, and it may not be what what the dream really means. People are
Yeah,
using it that way too. Yeah, yeah. It just depends. Everything has a place.
yeah. And with dream interpretation, even if you do decide to use AI, it should resonate with you. I mean, I've done dream interpretations for people where they've insisted, no, that's not right. And then I'll say, I can't help you. You might be able to figure it out for yourself, because this is what I'm picking up, but it doesn't necessarily mean that for them. It does still have to come from you, where you say, yes, this definitely makes sense to me. But it's interesting to learn it. I think it's a really neat art. I think what you do with the pendulum, you use your pendulum all the
All
time.
the time.
And yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
even use it in the grocery store.
I use the pendulum. I have several, and I use it in healing. Sometimes even around the house, something goes wrong, so we need to know what area it is. I could pick up a pendulum and figure it out. Definitely, healing is the strength. That's what I always focus on, because I have always been a passion of mine for decades. And so there's a lot of ways, and but it needs practice. I mean, it's like if you want to learn to play the guitar, I mean, you need to practice just by picking a guitar, which some people will pick a pendulum and think they could do it because it moves. There's a lot of things. I still take classes every month with my teacher, just because there's a lot, because it's all about energy. So that is so vast. You need to know what's going on, how to synchronize with things. So it's not just picking up and you move, and there's a lot that goes beyond that.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating, all the things that you can do and everything that teaches you. But it's again a tool, and it
Yeah.
takes practice.
Yeah, and I know you do know a lot, because sometimes you'll tell me things, little things like, were
Mhm.
you hydrated? Were you balanced? I mean, so like I don't know,
Yeah.
but you do, and so that's because you use that tool seriously. Um, with respect to dreams, I know some people feel like I can never remember my dreams. I never can, and
I'm one.
you're one. I think it helps if you set the intention every night. I'm going to dream. And I also think it helps if you have a question that you want to think about. Like, I need guidance with this. And it may take a week, but I think it helps if you think about it. You can even write it down on a piece of paper and put it under your pillow before you go to bed. And just, I'm looking for guidance on this, and set the intention to remember, because a lot of times you wake up and you just don't remember. But when you do wake up, just sit for a little while and wait for it to come to you. Sometimes it'll just be a little piece of something, and then you will, it may come back to you stronger throughout the day. Like, oh yes, there was that other piece. It is interesting how it happens. You're just remembering. That's all it is. It's just remembering. You do dream. Everybody dreams. Some people, I think, who are on certain medications might not dream as much as other people, or their dreams get wacky. But it's you do dream. It's just a matter of trying to remember it and getting in that habit. It's just opening up a new language. You're just trying to learn a new thing, a new form of it's a language. It's a communication. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, no, I love hearing you talk about dreams. It's just fascinating. You interpreted one of my sister's dreams one time, and that was very helpful. So
That one
maybe
was
she
neat.
told me it was okay to share. Everything we do, we
Okay.
always ask for permission, even with the
Yes.
pendulum. There's always you cannot just take it and douse or talk about someone without permission.
Yeah. No, it's not right. It's not right to go into somebody else's energy without
Yeah, it's about
permission.
always
Yeah.
doing the right thing in life, really.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that would be fun. I kind of remember it. I don't remember all the details, but it would be fun to bring that one on here, because
Yeah.
I remember it was a really involved dream. Like the one that I just shared wasn't that involved. I remember that one had a lot going on. So that one was neat. So we can do that on another episode coming up.
Cool.
Yes. So please, if you like this episode, give us a thumbs up on the little thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you want to, and share it. Pass it along to somebody else if you think they would enjoy it. But go to our website, dreamdowsing.com. Share your dreams with us. We would love to see what you're dreaming about and see if we can help you get a little bit of an understanding. And it helps everybody else if we all learn at the same time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.